Hello YouTubers and YouTube land, I'm Chris from OCG and today we're going to be looking at the groundbreaking RPG that is Final Fantasy VII. So before I get into this, let me paint you a picture. It's 1997, I go to my local newsagent to buy a PS1 magazine. I look along the shelf and I see this one magazine that stands out to me. It has this blonde haired character with a huge sword. So I pick up the magazine, I flip through the pages and I'm greeted to the in-game artwork and some of the screenshots of the game, and to tell you the truth I was just intrigued. I was just like, I've got to know what this game's about. So I bought the magazine, I got home, I put in the VHS tape, the videotape that it came with, because back then sometimes you got a demo disc, sometimes you got a videotape. So I put this videotape in and within minutes I was just blown away. I saw the CG, I saw the gameplay, and I just thought I have to get this game. So I went to my grandparents and I was a bit like having to convince them to get it me, because the game was quite expensive. It was like £44 at the time, which was a lot of money. And you know, come Christmas Day, sure enough, there it was. I opened up this package and there it is, Final Fantasy VII staring at me right in my face. And from that moment I was just hooked. I couldn't leave the game alone, and up to this point, you know, my most loved games on the PS1 were like Tekken 2 and Rayman. You know, I love the crap out of those games, and so, you know, when Final Fantasy VII came along, it just blew me away with its RPG elements. Now, what makes Final Fantasy VII so special? Well, it really introduced gamers outside of US and Japan to the world of JRPGs. I mean, before this there were RPG games, but none that had the same impact as Final Fantasy VII did. And the budget for the game was just huge. I mean, still to this day, no other RPG game has sold more copies than Final Fantasy VII has, which is definitely saying something. Not to mention, you know, music of the gods. So good in fact that I have tracks of Final Fantasy VII on my MP3 player right now, as we speak. And I've got to hand it to Nobuo Uematsu. You know, he really did an awesome job, and I take my hat off to him. Now, as for the gameplay style, it's turn-based RPG, not real-time, which I welcome any day, as I feel it showcases beautifully in Final Fantasy VII, as players can choose how they're going to attack each round. So are they going to do a bunch of magic spells one round, or are they going to do a bunch of summons, that sort of thing. And I feel it's a shame really, because in the now Square Enix years of gaming, I think this is something that's missing, and I really wish that they would go back to these roots. The Materia System in Final Fantasy VII is personally one of the best and, you know, most well-crafted systems of any Final Fantasy game. And yes, I have played Final Fantasy 1 to 10 too, and by played I mean played and completed, so I definitely still stand by what I've just said. And, you know, at the end of the day, this is just a personal opinion, but I really do feel that the Materia System is the best in Final Fantasy VII. Also, for just the sheer amount of materia combinations that could be made. This is a topic that myself and my friends would often talk about during lunchtimes at school. You know, we would get together and we'd talk about the best equipment setup and materia setup. And it was just the fact that you could equip materia to both your armour and your weapons, so you could either, you know, protect against a certain element or use that element offensively. So it was just really quite smart. Not to mention how good it is when you get to pull off a limit break during an enemy fight or boss battle. It's just awesome. Now, as we know, gameplay matters, but so does story, and this game has it in spades. I don't wish to go into the story, as I want those who watch this to just go and experience it for themselves, but all I will say is that it does twist and turn, and would definitely warrant a replay through or two to fully understand the full backstory. I'm looking at you, Zach. But what you do need to know is that you will definitely get hours and hours out of this game and still not see it all. Even the mini-games are enough to replay this. G-Bike, anyone? who could forget Chocobo racing? Not to mention Chocobo breeding, as if it wasn't enough that you could mate like Chocobos together until you eventually got a gold Chocobo that thought it was Jesus Christ and could suddenly walk on water and climb on mountains and... You know what? Let's just forget that bit. And did I mention the game is 3 discs long, so there's plenty of gaming to be had. Now, if I can be serious for a moment, it's also the first video game that truly affected me on the same level that a Disney or Pixar movie did, making you feel for the characters and feel like you're on this epic journey with them, right to the very end. All I can say is play. No, experience this for yourself, and it will change your gaming life. And as copies of Final Fantasy VII are on the PC, Steam, PS1, PlayStation Network, there's just so plenty of options for you to get a hold of this gem and just give it a go for yourself. So don't just take my word for it, go and experience it for yourself and have a great day. I just want to say thank you for watching my Final Fantasy VII video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know that getting into this project it was going to be huge, and I just only hope that I've done this game some justice, and that if you're watching this right now you want to go and play this for yourself, and if you own Final Fantasy VII then you want to go away now and just replay it through again, then that's exactly what I wanted to achieve. So I also want to say thank you for watching the video and supporting it, us OCG, because it really does mean a lot to us, so thank you for that. So that just leaves me to say I hope you have a great day and keep on gaming.